Hey there, before we jump into the episode, we wanted to extend an amazing offer for you to get the results you deserve through our one-on-one online coaching process. So all you have to do is send us a message to our Instagram, Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT, with the keyword real results, and we will take care of you. If you're looking to stop struggling, if you're looking to lose body fat for summer and keep it off for the rest of your life, this is absolutely for you, and we guarantee results. That's how much we believe in our program. So we can't wait to hear from you. Now into this episode. And I just want to welcome you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast. I am your host and coach, KG, here with
his co-host and co-coach, Josh. What's going on, everyone?
So this episode is stemmed from a number of different things, right? A lot of conversations we have. I always get inspired from content, from talking to people, seeing where people are struggling. And I feel like if one person struggles with one thing, there's a lot of other people who are very similar. And so that's what this episode stemmed from. And even Josh had shared with me that he was asked a question more so about kind of like the secret, like what do you do for cardio? Like we get asked a lot of very specific questions in terms of kind of like the secret. Someone asked us, what Josh's secret breakfast was that had him looking jacked and being strong. And once again, that is a very interesting question, but the main thing we wanted to talk about is what's holding people back. And there's a lot of things, right? So without further ado, I wanted to share the number one thing I find that a lot of people are struggling with and that's holding them back. And the truth is your eating patterns are just horrible. And some people may realize it. Some people may actually not realize exactly what's going on. But honestly, I just find that is usually the number one thing. Obviously, the next four things are very, very important and also very common. But once again, the nutrition is just absolutely horrible. A lot of people just truthfully don't try. And I'm here to be fully honest with you, especially for this episode. For some people who are just spinning their wheels, who are constantly struggling, who are going to the gym, who just haven't been seeing results, this is very, very often the case. And it can come in a bunch of different forms, constantly overeating, drinking way too much, snacking way too often, just not caring about your protein at all. So my biggest challenge, and even if you're not exactly fully struggling, I'm willing to bet you every single person can take a look at their diet and realize there's something they can change to optimize, whether it's a bit more protein, whether it's a bit less fast food, whether it's just a higher quality nutrients in their breakfast. Like, once again, for those of you who are struggling, just get a hold on your nutrition. Just start being better, really. Like it starts with just more meal prep, making a better effort. And then also for those of you who feel like you could do a little bit better, you're not exactly struggling, just make a small change and you'll start to feel so much better. So yeah, that's going to be the number one thing that I find holding a lot of people back. And I just want to be honest and transparent with you today.
Yeah, this is a huge one, and I find diet is actually one of the easier things to control. I know that sounds crazy, but to go to the gym, that's something you have to do. That's an extra thing on top of your plate, and for most people, that isn't the problem. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure that isn't the problem for you either. But diet very often isn't what we do, it's what we don't do. It's just having that restraint to say, I'm not going to snack needlessly at 9 p.m. It's having the restraint to say, I'm not going to order that extra thing. Even yesterday, me and Kyle were so proud of our friend because I was teasing them. I'm like, let's go get ice cream because I'm not really a sweets person or whatever. And normally he's always down to go get a bite, go get a dessert, whatever. And he said, I don't need it. And me and Kyle just both instantly gave him props. We're like, bro, I'm proud of you. That is progress. That's freaking awesome. And I was being silly there and trying to mess him up. We wouldn't have actually went, but I think it was a funny point. But even just saying, I don't need it. Even when you're tempted, you're at a cool restaurant, you're like, I want to order 3 entrees, 6 desserts, all these different things. Like just starting eating till you're satisfied and saying, I'm good here. I don't need to do anything crazy. I don't need to absolutely overeat just because it's the weekend. Like breaking these habits and these preset notions of self-destruction that a lot of us will be in, where maybe you're crushing it Monday through Friday and every weekend you just go off the rails, you're eating everything, you're just trying to find happiness in that food. But like I said, it's not always what you do, it's what you don't do. And instead of just eating a healthy meal once, try and really limit the unhealthy meals you have. Try and buy better food, invest in what you're eating that much more, be just on top of your game pre-logging. Like it really doesn't have to be complicated. And my biggest tip as to why you're not seeing progress is that there's this mindset of there's a secret and you're always looking for it. Time and time again, I've told people like what I do for fitness, how I maintain the physique I have, and they're like, okay, cool, but like what's the secret? Like no fast food or intermittent fasting, what do you do? I'm like, no, like that is not the secret. The secret is doing the basics and being consistent and removing that mindset that there is or adding the mindset, I suppose, that there is no magic pill, there's no magic protocol, there's nothing. And even our coaching, we're going to be the first people to tell you, we're going to make it as easy as possible and we're going to get you guaranteed results. But there still is work. You still do have to actually make the point to eat better, to want to do more, to get in the gym. We're going to do your workouts for you. It's going to be entirely way more fun. It's going to be periodized. It's going to be exciting. You're going to gain more muscle. It's going to make it easier, but you still got to do those workouts. You still, if you want to lose fat, you do have to be in a deficit. And obviously there's tools to make that 100 times less miserable, but there still is a buy-in cost of it. And that's why being fit and healthy is so admirable, because it's something that can't be given. It has to be earned. So by removing that quick fix mindset of just buying a quick supplement, we had someone come up to us just the other day saying, hey, L-carnitine, I hear that makes all the difference. And Kyle just said straight up, that's not going to make the difference for you. You got to change your nutrition. You got to train harder. And we just like to keep it real, and that's because I think it sucks when someone thinks they finally found that fix, they spend a bunch of money on it, they see no progress, and they feel hopeless. But a great way to not feel hopeless is to do something about it and to start taking your training, your nutrition, your goal setting seriously, and you will see big results because of that.
Yeah, and if you have made this mistake in the past or you still do, like, don't beat yourself up over it. I've been there, and even some of my clients to this date, they'd sign up, they would take that right step, they're investing in themselves, they know they're taken care of, I'm going to give them everything they need, but they'll still even sometimes have that mindset. They're like, hey, I'm going to the supplement store, like, what are your thoughts? L-carnitine, this fat burner, like, what do you think? Whatever it is, there's all these different things. And I'll be honest, once again, I'm not here to lie to someone. I'm not here to trick someone. Like, I want to give you the cold hard truth. Like, my biggest mission here, same with Josh, same with our entire team, is to speed up the process, to just get rid of all the fluff, to get rid of the noise. And a lot of times people don't know how much it's actually holding them back, because you might think like, oh, it's not that big of a deal that I'm chasing the next trend, or I'm, buying this pointless supplement or whatever. But it's the false hope. It's the mindset where you're always chasing it. You're never sticking to that one thing. You think it's harder than it needs to be, and you're just never going to see results that way. And it just really pains me, because we have a lot of these different conversations. Even I find a lot of people, unfortunately, don't listen, especially when they do ask us. They see Josh, he's at the pool. Like, man, you're so, like, dude, you're jacked. Like, what the heck are you doing? And he'll tell them, and it's usually one ear out the other, right? Whereas here, at least if you're listening to us, you're here for a reason, you're going to listen. So I'm happy to be sharing all these thoughts that I've had on the top of my head recently, because you guys are awesome, and I know you're all going to apply it in some way or another. Even, once again, if you're not someone who's like crazy struggling, like, a small change can make the difference and even speed up results 5 to 10 times faster. But number 3, once again, the cold hard truth here, that's what this episode is about, is just you're not being consistent enough. And there's so many people like this. Inconsistency comes in a bunch of different ways. I find the longer term one is like 1 month on, 1 month off. I don't think this is like usually people's biggest issue, but it can, especially during a busy period of time, whether it's vacations. I know even sometimes when people take a vacation, it's like the week leading up is tough because you have a lot of work to do, or at least you say you do. Then the week after your recovery, like, it can turn into this big hiatus. And I see that very, very often where people, oh, I haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, man, been crazy busy. I haven't been here in a few weeks, right? This is obviously workout side of things, but even still nutritionally, they'll still have the same kind of mindset as well. Another one is 1 week on, 1 week off. A very inconsistent, horrible thing that's just leading you to not great results. The other one that's not as common, and it may not be as in your face as like 1 week on, 1 week off, is like the whole 4 to 5 days on and then 2 to 3 days off. And that's the weekend, right? So from Thursday, or at least let's say Friday to Sunday, you're not keeping track of your food. You don't really care. You don't have as much meal prep going on. You're just like not hitting your protein. You just don't care because it's the weekend, right? And that's something that holds people back so much. And even when you think about it, Friday to Sunday is if I do the math, it's probably around 40%, around that range. And if 40% of your week is just off and you're not hitting your numbers and you're skipping your cardio and your workouts, it's going to lead to you just not getting the results you deserve. So my biggest thing here is when you do something for a prolonged amount of time and you consistently show up, you will see the results no matter what. Even if it's kind of the wrong stuff, but you're still putting your best foot forward, eventually things will start to catch on. And just be more consistent and you'll start to see better results.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can be consistent for a time, 5, 6 days, but you could be 100% for those 5, 6 days. But if someone's even just being consistent at 65% for 30 days, they're going to blow you out of the water, unfortunately. And that's just the name of the game. So that's where avoiding short term solutions and looking for long term changes, really making becoming fit and healthy part of your identity and not something you just do like for a period of time or episodically, if that's a word. So if you just do for different episodes of your life, that's something you want to avoid. You want that mentality of how can I go about this long term? And yes, you can have different periods where you bulk, cut, maintain. Obviously, it's fun to like bulk a little bit more in the winter, cut and get a little more shred in the summer. But all in all, the same tenets of fitness, health, happiness, like will stay true. And that's what makes it easy. And that's why myself and Kyle, our clients, our community, we're able to really just navigate this in a really consistent way where we're continually improving and we're not sacrificing life to do it. And with our coaching, there's no food restrictions. There's nothing that's off limits. We work around your schedule, the gym you have available, how much time you have to go in the gym, and everyone's different. And I assure you, regardless of your circumstance or situation, you can see results. And so much of it just comes down to changing that mindset. So my next tip here too is just having a circle who's holding you back. I mentioned in a previous podcast how the average person these days is unfit, unmotivated, really upset with themselves, and just not really looking forward to any health or just capability. Even in the sauna the other day, just hearing all the pains everyone's going through, hearing people say it's impossible for me to lose weight, I'm just going to be like this, seeing even when you go to events, like seeing other parents not participating, not being able to move how they want to move, like it really is sad. And I think if your circle is really holding you back, we always say you're the average of the 5 people you spend or you're around. And once again, you want people there that you're like, oh, I got to get off my butt because these 5 people are buggy and they're doing more than I can ever do, who are building you up, who are encouraging you to get out and go to activities. So just getting that momentum is so important. And even Kyle made a note here, the crabs in the bucket analogy. And I mentioned that other monkey analogy with the bananas, but the crabs in the bucket analogy essentially is when one crab would try to escape the bucket, the others would pull him down and stop him from leaving. And it's not that crab that's stopping himself, it's him, those crabs around him. So if people are really restricting what you think you can do, perhaps you don't even have people in your circle. Once again, we emulate that by having a community in our coaching group. One thing you can even do is obviously be listening to this podcast more. I assume myself and Kyle would inspire you. I'm definitely sure by this 4th point here, you're really inspired and excited to make some change in your life. So listen, tune in more, watch our YouTube, watch our Instagram, find other people in the fitness and health community who fire you up. So definitely don't be held back by your circumstance in your community. Get out there, take action, and get after it.
Yeah, and I find that I like that Josh brought out that you may not even have a circle that's motivating you. So I find that a lot of times people do have those people, whether it's like work friends or high school buddies or like those people that you say you've known since you were 2, so you hold on to them, and they may hold you back. They may be negative. They may be people who just aren't on this fitness journey. And where it's tough is, and I've felt this, and that's why I'm passionate about it, is like I would start to see really good progress, but then when I would hang out with people, it was so unnormal for them to be doing this whole thing. I would sometimes feel bad, they'd be drinking, I'll give in, and it would be a weird kind of, this is what would lead to inconsistency, is like I'm doing so well, but then when you're around these other people, you kind of just go towards what they do, especially when there's a lot of them. And I see that happen with a lot of people. We get messages from someone saying, yeah, like, the 4 or 5 people I spend time with, they all like drinking, they all like partying, they all, none of them care about fitness, and it can be very tough. But then also not having people like to motivate you. Like my circle, I'm focused on being the best version of myself, everyone around me, and if not, then I'll limit my time there because I'm focused on that. So anyways, I thought that was very well said. Some people may find it a bit harsh, but at the end of the day, if you're struggling, it could be because of the people around you, and you're just naturally resorting to the habits they have, and that's what's normal in that circle. And number 5, a very hard one for some people to hear, you really have to question this one, is, hey, it's possible you're not serious. It's possible you don't want it bad enough. I mean, honestly, there's so many people out there, and I can tell when someone's serious about something just from the way they talk, but above all, the actions they take. There's so many people out there that are talkers that say they want something, they say they want to lose weight, but their actions are not in line with what they say. And if your actions aren't in line, yes, there may be one thing holding you back. It may be the circle, it might be, tough at work, but you honestly don't want it bad enough. And when I have to have this conversation, which is a little bit here and there, more than I'd like to, they start to realize a lot of different things. Like they start to realize like, man, it's so true. Like I haven't been acting like that. And when you actually get deeper with what's going on and what's going on in your mind, and sometimes people may want something or they may want something different. So a lot of times, and this is one of my biggest tips here, is to sit down, to become actually laser focused on what you want, why you want it, and just go a level deeper. And that reminds me, I've actually been listening to an audiobook recently, and he was just talking about the 7 layers deep, and we'll put down below just like a little link so you can check it out. But I honestly believe this can change the game for you, because there's some people who may say, hey, I want to lose weight, right? When they go a level deeper, they start to realize it's so much more than that. I want to lose weight because, and then you keep going along the circle. They start asking you why, essentially 7 times, 7 layers deep. It becomes so much deeper. And when it's a lot deeper, it makes you realize what you're working for. It could be something that's happened in your upbringing that you're really passionate about, that you didn't realize was going to push you. That will hold you accountable. That will push you a little bit more. It could be something relating to your kids. And I find that helps you become more serious. It helps you become more dialed in, and it helps you want it more than you say you do. So once again, really make sure when you say you're going to do something, allow your actions to be in line with that. Honestly, that's how I know the biggest difference between someone, like if someone says, hey, I want to get in shape, and then they don't show up and they don't do anything, my biggest thing is they don't want it bad enough. They don't actually want it. If someone says, hey, I want to be in shape, and then they go and they go do their grocery shopping and they show up at the gym like first thing, like that's a very big difference. And I find so many people like the thought of saying like, hey, I want a trainer, or say like they sign up for a gym membership. They love the thought of it, and that's what they feel like is going to help, just because they love saying that, right? So anyways, let your actions line up. I want to say thank you so much for spending time with us today. You know, you taking 20 or so minutes out of your day to listen to this means the world. If you are looking to get the real results, to get the results you deserve, message us with the keyword real results to Instagram. We can't wait to help you out, and we'll talk to you soon.